I hate you.
So it actually, it will wag the tail. That was...
I hate you. I was just like, I wasn't even thinking.
What's up, guys? It's Brandon and Kaylee, and behind us, it's a Volkswagen ID.4, but it's not just any ID.4. It's an all-wheel drive ID.4. I've driven it before. Kaylee's never been in one. Unfortunately, she can't drive it because she's under 25, and it's a Volkswagen-owned press car. However, we're going to be taking you guys for a drive so that Kaylee can share her passenger seat thoughts and impressions. We can kind of just talk about overall proposition of all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive as rear-wheel drive owners. And you're now joining us inside the ID.4 all-wheel drive. Obviously, if you've watched our channel before, you know we have an ID.4 rear-wheel drive at home. Very similar car. This is a different color scheme. This is the blue with the black and brown interior. We have a white with the gray interior, which we definitely prefer that. But we're gonna be taking the ID.4 all-wheel drive out. I actually have one on order that we may or may not end up getting. And I have actually driven the all-wheel drive before at the ID.4 press launch. That video's out on Out of Spec Reviews. But Kaylee has not been in an all-wheel drive ID.4 before, so she wants to experience it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to drive it because you have to be 25 to drive Volkswagen press or manufacturer cars. So, yeah.
But she'll give
I'll give my impression from the passenger seat.
I must say, hopping in this with the glossy screens again versus the matte ones we have in ours with screen protectors, it's a lot different. All right, now that we're exiting the parking garage here, let me tell you a little bit about the ID.4 all-wheel drive. So it's essentially the same car as the rear-wheel drive, except they actually add an induction front motor that adds about 100 horsepower. The rear motor is still the 150 kilowatt permanent magnet, just like the rear-wheel drive, and that doesn't change at all. The beauty of having an induction motor in the front is that you can actually essentially disconnect it when you're not... That guy was hustling in his Pro. The beauty of an induction motor is that when there's not power applied to it, it's essentially not adding drag. You do have the weight penalty, but that way it's primarily rear-wheel drive, but you still get the extra power, the extra traction, things like that. And we're just gonna be driving around here. Obviously, it's not a really valid first impression. I've driven all-wheel drive, I own a rear-wheel drive, but I want to hear what Kaylee has to say. So yeah. I'll just punch it here from 30 miles an hour or so. So did you feel that little bit of a delay?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it felt very similar to like if you punched it in our car.
So that was in sport mode. That hits a bit harder.
Okay. I mean, it's also hard to tell because you said, like, especially the first time, you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it was like a few seconds. So okay. I was like, I wouldn't be able to feel the delay regardless because I'm not the one driving. Okay.
And do you have a route for me since I didn't connect CarPlay?
Kind of. Take a right.
Right here?
Yeah.
And we're in Southern California, so it's Model Y and a Prius in front of us, as you'd expect. What? Nothing. Okay.
I don't really have any thoughts yet. You haven't really driven it much.
Okay.
I hate this interior. That's about all I got.
Yep.
Comfort.
I'm very glad we went with gray interior. Comfort is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Are you noticing any difference in ride over bumps and stuff?
Maybe it feels a little bit better.
Okay, because this is 15 millimeters higher, about half an inch.
Yeah.
And it actually has thicker sway bars from the GTX.
Yeah, it feels like model. A little bit sturdier, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like it almost feels like with the rear-wheel drive, well, I don't know. Like lighter. Whereas
it feels lighter, interesting.
No, our car feels lighter.
Oh, okay.
Not this car.
Okay.
This car feels sturdier is what I was saying, sorry.
Like more planted kind of?
Yeah.
Interesting. But I'd say that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact weight of the front motor, but I'd guess it's probably in the like 200-ish pound range.
Yeah.
Like it's not the lightest thing, but it's not the heaviest thing either, but it does help balance it a little bit. And it does still have the staggered tires of every other ID.4. So this has the 20-inch, being that it's a Pro S with gradient, which is the same ones that we have at home. Am I going straight here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have you like go into parking lots at some point and like do a full circle, because I feel like that would give me like I don't know.
Like how tight it is?
Not even just how tight it is, just how it, yeah, I mean, I guess tight, but like also just how it like handles a full circle. Like, I don't know.
So that
always gives me like a good idea, I feel like.
Am I getting on up here?
Turn, not at this light, but the next one, turn right.
Okay. So one of the best things about the ID.4, if you're new to ID.4, is that it actually has a really tight turning circle on rear wheel drive. And unfortunately, it's not quite as tight on all wheel drive. It just can't be a front axles. The tires can't turn as much.
Yeah.
But it's still really good compared to pretty much every other car. Like, if you didn't know that it was worse than the rear wheel drive and you're not comparing them back to back, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Especially without any like markings or actual like metrics to use.
I hate you.
So it actually, it will wag the tail. That was...
I hate you. I was just like, I wasn't even thinking we were going to turn, because there was literally other cars coming. And you're just like, we're going.
So that was an ESC Sport, which I was actually impressed. It was surprisingly a little playful. The back end came around, but as I got on it, the front end pulled. So really good dynamics, like the ID.4 is kind of known for at this point. And this does have a higher top speed. We're not going to be testing that, but rather than the 100-mile-per-hour top speed of the rear-wheel drive, this has a 112-mile-per-hour top speed. So let's floor it here. What do you think? Is it
slightly slower than our car punching it? No?
It's 100 horsepower more.
That's what I thought. So I'm confused. I don't know if it's just the cars we've been in lately feeling different.
Yeah, mind you,
I haven't been in our ID.4 in a little while.
Mind you, we've been driving cars like the XC40 Recharge that has another 100 horsepower above this, so that might be skewing our feeling at this point.
Because like right now, this feels kind of slow to me, but like you said, it's 100 horsepower more, so it's it should be in theory faster than our vehicle.
It absolutely is in every measurable metric.
Yeah, maybe not. I just meant like when I said in theory, I meant maybe not in that punch.
Yeah. So I think the ID.4 all-wheel drive, it's not a sports car. It's not trying to be.
Yeah.
But it's only $3,600 more than a rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I see absolutely no downside to going with this.
Yeah.
And kind of as I mentioned in my original first drive on Out of Spec reviews, you'll probably get every bit of that back in resale when you eventually go to sell it.
Yeah.
Or at least a decent amount. You'll have more performance. You'll have better traction if you get even a tiny bit of snow.
Oh, I should probably like keep an eye on where we're going.
But you still get the same ride comfort. You actually get a little bit higher ride height, which if you plan on taking it like off pavement at all, could be beneficial. Am I getting off here?
Oh, I don't know. Just keep going.
Okay. But it still has the excellent travel assist system. Oh, so interesting. Because I had an ESC Sport, it kicked ESC back to normal when I put it on travel assist. So that's kind of an interesting like little move, but does make sense. You don't want the car kind of driving when ESC is reduced.
Yeah.
It still has the kind of dumb only 2 window switches. It still has all the piano black. Yeah. Everything inside the car is exactly the same as rear wheel drive. This is actually on the same software as ours, the 0792 version, which is not the 2.3 that will be coming hopefully soon.
Get off here.
And that should be actually increasing charge speed as well. That was announced for the 2022 model year and should be coming over the air to previous models as well.
So I'm confused because you said you would get this over the rear wheel drive, but it's like $3,000 to some people is a lot of money. I don't know if this, I honestly disagree. Like, I don't know if I would pay $3,000 more because it feels pretty much the exact same to me. I mean, obviously I'm not driving it, and like, depending on your conditions, like maybe you need all-wheel drive, but like, why would you spend $3,000 more unless you have some special need, which like, I don't constitute snow as special need. I'd rather invest like that money into snow tires if that's the like argument that you'd be making. But like obviously like some people like,
I mean, that's fair. I think
like you get 100 more horsepower, yeah, but like to me it doesn't feel different enough for me to like care about that 100 horsepower.
Yeah, I think just being that when you do go to sell it, you'll probably get it back. The added power, the better traction. If you're in a place that does get snow, if you're in Southern California or Florida or whatever, it really doesn't matter. And certainly the rear wheel drive has enough power to get out of its own way. It's not, it's not slow, but it's not quick.
Yeah, so I say like if you have the money to easily put into it, go for it, but like also don't feel like you have to get the all-wheel drive.
No, you're still getting a great car with rear-wheel drive, but I think if you drive them, 3600, I mean, compared to like the Nissan Ariya that's coming out, to get all-wheel drive on that from front-wheel drive, you have to go all the way up to the top trim, which is $10,000 more than base. Yeah. Which is, take it right here.
Oh no, I was just telling you to stop.
Oh, okay.
You didn't look like you were going to. I don't know. It really depends on who you are more than anything. Cause like to me as someone that like doesn't have a ton of money to spend on extra little things, I would not get the all-wheel drive.
True.
It depends if you're buying it outright, if you're financing it, if you're leasing it. Like if you're leasing or financing it, it probably won't be that much more per month.
Yeah, so it's probably worth.
So it's probably just worth it. But if you're just buying it outright and you're tight on like it's a lot of money for you if you're buying it outright. But maybe you can't finance it for whatever reason. Like this might not be worth it. Like you don't definitely need. Like I wouldn't like say you need it, but if you can afford it, get it.
Yeah, if it's not a make or break in your budget, I would definitely go for it.
And obviously slight dependency on like where exactly you drive and what your day-to-day looks like, but
northern half of the country, I'd say give it a little bit more thought than the southern half of the country. Yeah. But I think being that a loaded all-wheel drive Pro S, at least for 2021 model year, they haven't announced 2022 pricing. It's right about 50K on the dot, which especially compared to like Model Y, even though I don't really consider them competitive cars, they're cross-shopped more than I think they should be. It's a really good value. Yeah. And this car rides great. It's quiet on the interstate. 3 years of free Electrify America, which is...
I mean, if you've watched any of our videos relating to ID.4s, you'd know that like the big thing with this vehicle to us is the value of it. Is it the best car on the market? No, honestly, it's not. But it's a good car. It's made by Volkswagen, which they have their manufacturing down, which is not something I can say about all electric vehicles. And I don't know, like it's just an overall for the price really good car. And if you travel a lot, the 3 years of Electrify America, you can't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been driving a lot of electric cars this weekend, and it seems like pretty much all of them have something that's not a make or break to everyone, but a big enough downside that I would hesitate to recommend it across the board. Whereas the ID.4, both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, while it doesn't excel at any one thing, it does everything so well that as a total package, it's awesome. Yeah,
like there are some cars that just like certain things I can't move past, whereas like this doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah, charging's great. Free charging is even better when it's fast. Yeah. Range is solid. I mean, you can get a pretty solid 200 miles on the interstate with this car. Or even more if you slow down. If you're doing city driving, you can probably get 300 miles out of a charge, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Ride comfort, awesome, like I said. Noise, awesome.
You literally moved lanes as I was about to tell you to turn left at that light, but it's fine.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was literally like, it was coming out of my mouth and you changed it to the right-hand lane. I'm like, okay, guess not. All right. We'll just take it left at this light instead.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you guys for joining us in the ID.4 all-wheel drive. If you have any questions, comment down below. If you want to just know what it's like to live life with an ID.4, we have a whole bunch of videos about that. Almost everything in our previous videos also applies to all-wheel drive, except for like power numbers, essentially. But as far as like road tripping, some of the minor modifications I've done, they're all the same.
And as you can see, Brandon and I kind of have different opinions on whether or not the all-wheel drive is like slightly worth it. We do have one on order, and we're debating whether or not we should take it. And clearly we have differing opinions. So tell us down below your thoughts on that. Should we upgrade to the all-wheel drive? Should we not?
And keep in mind, we can probably get for our ID.4 rear-wheel drive more than we owe, and especially when you factor in like the tax credit and stuff.
It would definitely be at least an even.
We might even come out ahead upgrading, which is crazy. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. You guys know the drill. Check out our other ID.4 videos, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.